Hey everyone, this is part 2 of Plummer blog. So you can watch part 1 through the link in description. Without further ado, let's get started. So up to here we did. So we finished this model with the bolt hole. And now we are going to create an extrude here. I'm gonna create a sketch on this plane, but before that make sure you have activated the top level, because this extrude cut we are going to do up to here. So if you see, we have a cut over here, so this we are going to make. Now I'm going to create a sketch. So the radius of the curve is 72. I'm going to create a circle, center as the origin, and select this point. Now I want only this arc, so I would like to trim it. Press T on the keyboard or select modify, and here we have trim. Select the extra entity that you want to trim. I would like to switch to home view. Press E on the keyboard for extrude. I would like to select these two profiles, and here in the extend type, to object, and pick this bottom face and make sure the preview looks good. Then you can say OK. Now just apply the fillet over here. F on the keyboard, select the edge, let the fillet radius be 5 mm and say OK. Now let's mirror these bodies, but before that there are two methods to mirror them. So the one is directly activating the top level and doing the mirror, which will result in additional components. So thus, to avoid those, I would like to activate each component. First base, under create, mirror, and make sure here the object type is bodies, and choose the body. And the mirror plane, you can select YZ. You can long press and pick the correct plane, or you can orient the view cube and pick the correct plane. So now make sure the preview looks good, and operation here, make sure it is joined. Then you can say OK. Again, activate the cap, repeat the mirror. I would like to select this body, and the mirror plane be this plane. So make sure you are selecting the correct plane. Say OK. And you can see the preview by activating the top level. So now it looks good. So one thing we forgot is filleting this edge. So let's apply that fillet. I would like to edit my older fillet, this one. In this I would like to include that fillet. So in that way, whatever the mirror you have created will be duplicated. If you create a fillet here, this won't get mirrored. You have to do the mirror again. So thus I would like to edit this fillet. Edit feature. Now here already there is a one fillet for this, but I would like to add one more selection set by clicking on plus icon. Now I can pick the edges, this and this. Carefully pick the edge. Let the fillet radius be 2 mm. This does not affect this, so you can create as many as you want, but I encourage you to not create 2 or more groups. That in that way, it might be easier for you to locate that particular fillet. Say OK. Now if you observe, that automatically got mirrored because the fillet is created before the mirror. Now let's create the bearing brasses. I'm gonna right click on a browser, say new component, rename it as bearing brasses. Make sure it is internal. You can activate it, say OK. Now what we are trying to create is this. If you observe here, this is our bearing brass, top and bottom two we are having. But first we will create one, then we will split it to make it two components. So if you observe here, this is the center point and the dia is 60 mm. So from here to here the length is, from here to here the length is 64 and this length is 24, total 24. So 64 minus 24, that is 40. So from here to here it is 40. I would like to create half of it first, then using mirror I'll duplicate it. So let me create a circle of 60, then I'll extrude it to 40. Okay, that is 20, half of that. I'm gonna create a sketch. Make sure you have activated bearing brasses. Create a sketch. You can hold your left mouse button to get these options. Then you pick ZX or XZ. Circle again. Original center. Draw a circle of 60 mm dia. Enter. Select the circle. Extrude. You can extrude any direction, no problem. So I would like to extrude in this direction, that is -20. Enter. Again I would like to create a sketch. So this time the circle dia be here, if you see 64. So make sure you create 64 dia. Enter. And select this face and this face. You can press E for extrude. Home view, see to see the preview. Let the length be 12 mm. So here the dimension is, so this extrude, that is 12. So make sure it is joined. So and say OK. Again I'm gonna right click, create a sketch. So circle, right? So you can use this marking menu to quickly create a sketch for basic commands. And the dia is 64 mm. Sorry, so the dia is 76 now. So enter 76. Now you can select these two profiles holding Ctrl on the keyboard. Press E on the keyboard. So the extrude length be 10 mm and make sure it is joined and say OK. So we got this half part. Now let's use mirror under create. Select the body and mirror plane B. So this circle part you can select, or you can select the plane. So let me tilt it. And I would like to select this face and make sure it is joined and say OK. Yes. So let's provide a hole now. Press H on the keyboard, or you can select the hole here. And to place a hole, you can place anywhere on the cylinder. Don't worry that if you do not get the diameter. I'm gonna tell you the options that you need to do. So first thing you have to do is locate the center. So since it is a cylindrical part, it has a center. When you try to move by holding the center point of the hole, it will show you the center of that particular related cylindrical body. So when you come close to it, it will get out of snap. Now after it got snapped, you can provide the type of hole. So currently it is a simple hole, make sure it is simple, and here also simple. So drill point not required, and extend to all. So because we want the hole to be all the way passing from here to here, and the dia be 50 mm. You can say okay to accept the hole. Activate the top level and check the preview to make sure that it looks good. Yes, one thing here is it's not extruding all the way. So let me troubleshoot it. If I say okay, yeah, now it got okay. So sometimes it might happen, so just rebuild it or redo the operation again. Yes, now let's provide a top hole over here. Again use hole, and I would like to select this point. As soon as I selected that point, if I switch to home view, I have to locate the hole center. So you can drag it and place the hole accurately at the center. So this is not a accurate method. See, when you are trying to locate the hole, you are unable to put it correctly. So if you do not want the circle to be accurate, you can go ahead and accept this. But if you want the circle to be accurate, the hole to be accurately positioned, you have to use a different method. I would like to cancel this hole. Then I would like to construct a plane. You can select tangent plane, and I would like to select this surface. So as soon as I pick this surface, I got a 0 degree plane tangent to that surface. Now you can adjust this angle to tilt the plane along the surface, but in this case I want 0 degrees. I would like to say okay. Now I would like to create a sketch on this plane. So if I'm going too slow, if you can speed up the video or slow down the video. So make sure you fit the speed of this video based on your understanding. And I would like to put a point at the center. Then finish the sketch, home view. Now you can use the hole, select the center point that you have created, adjust the diameter. Now see, if you see the drawing, here we got a hole and the dimensions are 6 dia, deep is 20, and see, countersunk dia is 6. Actually the whole dia is 3. Now let's define those dimensions. So here in the hole type, switch to countersink, and you can use these handles to give the dimension. So this is, so the dia be 3 mm and countersunk dia be 6 mm. So the deep he said is 20, but if you check the hole, it is passing all the way from top up to here. So it is creating hole for the bearing brasses also. So here also you can see the hole. So I would like to continue that hole all the way to the bottom. So make sure it is symmetrical and everything seems good. And I would like to drop it here. You can create a angle if you want. So this dimension is not given from bearing brasses to the bottom. So I would like to keep it 105, no issue, and say okay. Now if you go to home view, you got that hole created, and make sure the hole is created for all the components. Yes, even you can hide bearing brasses, then your hole is created for the base also. So one last step for this video we'll do is, let's split the bearing brass. So I would like to activate the component, split the body, select the bearing brass, and the splitting tool be here. You can pick this plane, so make sure you pick XY plane, and if you say okay, now we got two bodies. You can activate the top level, and if you expand bearing brasses, in the bodies we have bottom and top. Now it's a good point to save your design, adding a comment so that it becomes easier for you to identify the versions. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We'll see you in the next video.